How's it going, folks? And welcome back. It's episode number 45 of part 2 Primera. It's Monday. I hope you're having a fantastic start to your week. And today, we've got Liverpool. A Liverpool team who I thought when we got drawn in our group were going to be the team to beat in Group C. But as things have transpired, whilst they are top in England, if I'm not mistaken, when it comes to the Champions League, they are struggling a little. As for ourselves, well, we played a game in the Champions League since you were last here. We didn't win it. And well, since last episode where we took on Bayer Leverkusen, we've played a load more games. We've played 6 games in total. 5 of those have been in the league and that aforementioned Champions League defeat. Let's talk about them. And let's talk about this Levante game to start things off. My, oh my, oh my. One of those games that you play and kind of wish was in an episode. So in this match to kick things off, they took the lead inside the first half an hour. Levante, a team who are kind of okay in the league. They're not a great team. They're the kind of team that in our quest for consistent continental football, we need to be beating. Unfortunately for us, nothing else happened until the 89th minute where Pablo put it on a plate for Martinez. Really nice volley by him, and 1-1, couple of minutes left. We made some subs. I brought on a couple of fresh legs, and I was going for the win. And, well, we were going for the win until Frutos scored for them. I don't know if Ramadani in goal could have done a little bit more there. Would Machado have saved it? We'll never know. But big thing for us here. Atakovic turned provider, Mahika, last-minute goal. Yeah, there were 3 goals scored in the last 5 minutes of this game as we shared a share of the spoils. Not a bad result away from home. The kind of game that you leave and it just feels like a win. And whilst that wasn't a true winning feeling, shall we say, given the fact it finished 2-2, we did have a bit more of a winning feeling when we took on Sevilla. A really, really good performance in this game. Mahika got us off to the best possible start. Torre also scored in this game. Avramides and Calderon also getting on the score sheet. A bit mad that a game that had an XG total between the two teams of 3 goals turned out to be a 7-goal thriller, but it was a good one. Defensively, we were good. Ramadani, question marks over his goalkeeping, maybe. He's kept 5 clean sheets in 9 games. It's not a bad start to his time here, but there has been a few games where he's been a bit meh, shall we say. Stuff that you maybe hope that a goalkeeper that you signed for £10 million is going to save. He's not saved them. That said, lots of positives to take from this game, especially the fact that Calderon got on the score sheet, a player who came through our academy, and I was very, very excited about him at the time. And last year, we tried to bed him into the first team a little bit, and he didn't really get going. And, well, we've been bedding him in again here. He scored in this game. It's his only goal contribution of the season. But one thing that is absolutely undeniable is he's improved a lot during his very early years here at the club. He's still only 18 years old, and in fact, you can see here, he turned 18 last month. So he is young, he's got a bright future. If you just saw this polygon in isolation, you'd think he is the next big thing, I think. Bit of a shame he's inconsistent. I suppose the big challenge with Calderon right now is, I don't play with a left winger. I do play with a striker, which is where we've been playing him. But I don't know if that's where he's going to end up playing for us. I hate the fact he has 6 finishing and 10 long shots. And whilst I have tried to train his shooting for a little bit, it didn't really progress as much as I was hoping. As a result, I've changed his focus to quickness. What I am thinking is at some point down the line, we may end up playing with a left winger and he could go out and play there on the left-hand side. On the flip side, if he was to play as a striker for us, maybe, you know, as a complete forward on support, he could do a role for us. I mean, really, it's only his finishing and his shooting on the whole that let him down as well. I guess his aerial ability isn't the best, but ultimately he's a super talented player. I just don't know what to do with him. Like, he's definitely going to be the next great thing. I just have to work out what that great thing is. We'll keep getting him football. We'll keep an eye on his development, I suppose. Now, in this run of games, we did take on Real Madrid and Barcelona, 2 teams who I would normally be more tempted to do for a live com, but I was conscious over the fact that last season we did a lot of live comms. The season was a bit longer in terms of episode numbers than I wanted it to be. As a result, I didn't do this game. I'm very glad I didn't. It finished 0-0. Ramadani actually in this game made some really good stops for the 2 chances that they had. That said, it wasn't a classic. 0-0 against Real Madrid. Probably a good result, I think. If there's any doubt over whether or not the draw against Real Madrid was a bad result, this one definitely was. We played against Lazio away. This is the one game that we played in the Champions League. They scored through Eddie Salcedo. We look really bad. You know, do you ever have those games in Football Manager where your team just don't seem to play very well and you kind of change the formation? I went back to the old system at half-time in this game. And it just feels like no matter what you do, you're just not going to have a good game. It was that kind of game. In the end, it only finished 1-0, and right towards the end, we really did go for it, but it didn't really materialise into any real chances. This was disappointing. Maybe need to evaluate what exactly Lazio did to really neutralise us as they did. You can see here the shape they played, not something we play all that often. Already nervous for the return game against Lazio, because they proved in this game they're going to be difficult to beat. The next game we had was another 1-0 affair. It was at home against Barcelona. 94th minute, Blanco does that. And it wins us it. We were not the better team in this game, but defensively we looked relatively solid. Ramadani had an exceptional game this time. Barcelona had a few really great chances in this game. We kept them out, we didn't concede from them, and we came away with the win. Now, unfortunately, most recently, we had our first defeat in La Liga all season. It was against Mallorca. They're bottom of the league. I rotated the team entirely for this game. I gave Aguilera his first ever senior start. I thought we could use this opportunity against the team who were bottom to rotate the team off the back of an international break, give some of our star men who have gone away on international duty a rest. Should I have done it? In hindsight, probably not. We were awful, a defeat, not what we want to see. And well, with all those results, here is how the league table looks. We're currently down in third. It's not a terrible position to be in. We're still ahead of Barcelona. Ultimately, we're doing fine. This year, the board expectation is to get Europa League football with a top 6 finish. The media prediction is 5th. I would be very content with coming in the top 4. If we could finish behind the likes of Real Madrid, Atletico and Barcelona, that's kind of where I want to be. I know that might sound a little bit odd to be content being best of the rest. And, when you look at the kind of past positions, you look at the fact we finished 4th, then we finished 2nd, you might think the next logical step is to be shooting for the title. I think you know it. I know it. We're not near that yet. We're not near that, really, I don't think, within a few seasons. I just think the best teams, when they're playing at their best, they just have better quality than us. Ultimately, Mexica's kept scoring goals, which has been nice. He's got 7 to his name. You can see Mariano's having a really breakout season for Sociedad, aged 32, which is a little bit bizarre with his return to La Liga. Elsewhere, the only other player who appears in the immediate player stats is Ramadani with 5 clean sheets. So as much as I've discussed the fact that perhaps there's games where he's a tad disappointing, he's not conceding many. I do still feel a little bit guilty about Machedo. Is that understandable? I just can imagine him sitting quite sad in the corner of the changing room feeling replaced. And I'm oddly attached to him. Considering that, a few years ago when we were in the 3rd tier, I was talking about the need to replace him. He did grow me, and I think he's one of your favourites as well. I feel like I want to play him sometimes, but I can't do it at the moment because Ramadani's doing too well. Now, in terms of some other general squad news, big headline really is the fact that Owusu has got injured. He is out with a long-term injury, a lower back stress fracture. He's going to miss the best part of a month. Capanu going to get his time to shine as a defensive midfielder. You can see now it is considered a natural position for him. He is really, really good as a ball-winning midfielder. He's not shown too much ill discipline yet in terms of red cards. He has got 3 yellow cards in 5 appearances in La Liga. Going to need to hope he can walk that tightrope pretty well, because we're going to be playing him more and more in the next month or so. And well, one last bit of big headline news before we prepare for today's game against Liverpool. Mexica and Blanco have signed new contracts. Now, one of the challenges that we've had is managing the wage structure here at the club. We don't have a whole lot of money. We are now reaching the point where after successive Champions League seasons, the players are looking around and realising that they're being underpaid. And as a result, expectations are going up and up. And I think that is really shown through the fact that Mexica is now on £48,000 a week. But ultimately, he's been a super consistent player for us for the last 5 years. I'm confident at this moment in time that he can be a long-term squad player for us at the very least. Obviously, at 26 years old, he is entering his prime. He's committing his long-term future to the club, the record league goal scorer. He's been absolutely top drawer for us. I kind of just gave him a blank check, asked how much do you want? He gave a number, and I just kind of had to pay it. And that was a similar story with Antonio Blanco, who I don't view as quite as important as Mexica, but there's no doubt this year that he's been really good for us. A goal and 3 assists, a really good, consistent average rating. Last year, he played 27 games for us. The season before that, he played 31. He's a super regular member of our first team, and he wanted his contract renewing. And with 18 months left on it, I wasn't willing to risk losing him on a free. There was a little bit of interest from PSG in the summer. If the right offer came in, I certainly wouldn't be adverse to selling him. At the flip side, if we ignore our own financial predicament, I don't feel like £47,500 is an unreasonable amount of money to pay for a really great Spanish midfielder in our kind of team. I want to keep a Spanish core, and well, that meant paying the big Spanish players in our team, Mexica and Blanco. Just to have a quick look at the finances, 52 million in the bank. We are still consistently making money at the moment, despite the small raise in the wage totals. You can see here our wage budget sits at £650,000 per week. I did recently have a request to increase the transfer budget granted, ended up nudging some of that money over into the wage budget. But nevertheless, we are still kind of behind everyone else when it comes to annual wage spend. Certainly the teams that we're looking to compete against, but you wouldn't know that looking at the pitch. Today's game is against Liverpool. It's away from home. It's a big one for them. Liverpool, if they fail to win this one, they are in deep trouble. As for ourselves, 3 points from 2 games. We've won 1, we've lost 1. Away from home against Liverpool, this is not a game we come into necessarily expecting to win. This is the best 11 that I would play in an ideal scenario. It's not the one that can play today. We're going to have to bring in Kapanu for Owusu, and on the bench, obviously, Siapina, still injured. Actually, he's not injured. He got injured, didn't he, for Porto. Calderon, the man who we bigged up earlier, he's going to make his way onto the bench, and Owusu is going to have to make way because, well, he's injured. And we'll bring in Salgado, a good little player, probably our backup now to Kapanu in the defensive midfielder position. Can play centre-back, can play centre defensive mid. I think the big headline here is, despite the injuries to a couple of first-team players, we're still in a very, very good spot when you look at this team on paper. And well, speaking of teams on paper, this Liverpool team's good, isn't it? They've got Fabinho, David Alaba, Harvey Elliott in this save game. Looks like he must have developed a little bit. Diego Lainez alongside João Felix in the defence. They've still got Trent. They've still got Alisson. They've still got Van Dijk. They've got Eric Garcia. Of course, they've got Eric Garcia. And as if that starting 11 wasn't good enough, they've got players like Calvin Phillips and Paulo Dybala on the bench. So, yeah, it's going to be a rough day. You know what? To start this season, I was really, really happy with the tactical shift. I felt like it had worked well. Given the defeat against Mallorca, given the defeat against Lazio, there isn't a little bit of doubt creeping into the back of my mind. I feel like last year we had a really good winning formula with the 4-2-3-1. Obviously, that is the system that we've played to get to where we've got to. At the same time, we've got a draw against Real Madrid. We've got a win against Barcelona. And we did that last year as well. I was about to say, I'm hoping it's going to turn into a bit of a giant killing formation, this one. Not based off what we've seen there. Harvey Elliott opens his account for this game. I mean, I hope we can close his account for this game, and that's the last we're going to see. Who was that at the back post? It was Zivkovic. You're meant to be our key player. I got rid of Anana for you. I got rid of a song. And this is how you repay me. I feel like I'm having a breakdown. Remain calm, Jack. Look, it's early days, everyone. We need to relax. It's going to be okay. They've got a lot of players on the breakaway here. Zivkovic against Harvey Elliott. You lost the first round. Can you deal with him on this occasion? He gives it inside to Alaba. Big tackle. Was worried for a second it was going to get given as a back pass. Don't think they exist in Football Manager. If they do, I've never seen one. If you've seen one, let me know in the comments. Either way, we're on the attack. Martinez fouled it in the box. Referee, give the foul. He has to give it, because otherwise we could have kept playing. The ball wasn't out of play. Look at it. It stopped there. Oh, right. Mexica. I've got faith in you. I've just given you a new contract worth almost £50,000. Please score. Okay, that was not a convincing penalty, but it's in the back of the net. That's what counts. 1-1 after 25 minutes. The free kick, or rather the penalty, I should say, was won by Martinez. And whilst I've been bigging up Calderon as kind of the prospect of the future who's come through our academy, let's not forget about Martinez. I would say now, his development has stagnated a little bit, I feel like, over the last few months, the right winger. But you know what? If on the pitch he can put in a performance, he can stay just as good as he is now as well. Oh my word, the ball's through to Mexica. He's one-on-one. It's blocked. Back with Martinez, though. Could he win another penalty? Not on this occasion. The ball through there by Pablo. Superb, though. So at the break, it is 1-1. This has been a pretty tight game. Very, very cagey. Since we scored our goal, which was from our first shot of the game, they've had one shot. We've grown into the game a little bit. It's worth noting that in the other game in our group, Lazio are currently losing to Bayer Leverkusen. So as a result of that, I mean, the cat's amongst the pigeons, and well, we need to try and do some defending here. They are having shot after shot that is blocked. Fabinho from range. Diego Lainez now going to look to cause a headache or two. That is a great tackle by Zivkovic. And you know what? I need to demand more. And it wasn't from Zivkovic. I don't know who made the tackle there. We may never know. I assumed it was the left back. Although, why would it be the left back? It was clearly Mark at right back, Jack. Right, an hour gone. They're making changes. I feel like we should make changes as well. Martinez, I talked about the fact his development stagnated. I mean, he's not a bad player. He's just kind of your stereotypical quick winger. Still, he's only 20. He's got time to mature, but I feel like in this game here, he's been a tad disappointing. We're going to bring in Avramides out on the right, and I'm going to bring in Calderon. And I don't know why I'm going to bring in Calderon. I feel like I've bigged him up all day today. Today's his time to shine. It's weird. If you compare him on paper, even to someone like Atakovic, like there really isn't a world of difference. Speaking of Atakovic, I think I am actually going to bring him in here. I'm just wondering how I want to change things up. I'm going to bring in Vega, and I'm going to bring in Atakovic for Pablo Torre. I feel like fresh legs in the centre of this midfield could be pretty useful for us. We've struggled to have much of the ball today, so as a result, the defenders, they've had a lot of running to do. Maybe we can turn around that battle and create a little something in the last 10 minutes. Or maybe we can't. Football Manager, are we going to have a highlight here, please? Not for them, though. So throw in a dangerous area, deep in our half. Lainez with the ball, whips in Balde. Elliott is unmarked at the back post, and Malam Balde has assisted him. I assume that Balde's a regen. Harvey Elliott definitely isn't. Although if he wants to develop like this for Liverpool, I'd be happy with that. If we lose this 2-1, though, we are going to go bottom of our group. And our next game is against Liverpool in the group stage as well. It's not looking good in the group of death, is it now? I mean, I feel like with 3 minutes left, I've left this too late. I was going to go more attacking. Why, Jack, did you not hit spacebar to pause it and go more attacking? Well, we'll have one last roll of the dice with 60 seconds left. That fairly late goal has kind of caught us out. Ultimately, we didn't look great in that game. We didn't create anything in the second half. In fact, we had one chance. Our best performer was Ramadani. And, I mean, it was a close game against Liverpool. We've scored our only goal from the penalty spot. From open play, we looked a little bit lacking. Again, we have to put it in perspective. We've just taken on Liverpool away from home. You know, their top two earners at the club are earning as much as our entire squad combined. I mean, who is Balde? He's 19. I mean, he's just bloody ridiculous, isn't he? He's 19 and he's that good. Just not fair. So that was a massively disappointing result. A game that we really needed to win in Group C. Zivkovic is jaded and in need of a rest. We're in October. That does concern me for a player with 15 natural fitness. If we just look at the Champions League table, I mean, it doesn't look all bad. Let's not over-panic just yet. We're only 3 points behind Bayer Leverkusen. We're only 1 point behind Lazio in third, and it's only the halfway stage. A lot could change over the next few weeks. In terms of upcoming games, you can see here we've got a few games in the league as well as Liverpool in the Champions League. I think next time out we're going to come back for a back-to-back double header. 2 games at the end of November that look particularly appetising. Bayer Leverkusen away and Valencia away. That does mean we're going to skip over the Liverpool at home game in the Champions League. I will hope that we can cause a little bit of an upset there, although given what we've seen here, they seem like they're just a little bit of a better team than us. But against Bayer Leverkusen, who were the second lowest seed in the group, with us being the lowest seed, maybe we can look to steal away a win there. That's the kind of game that could end up determining, do we end up getting Europa League football, or are we going to struggle on a little bit more? Anyway, guys, that is going to wrap up everything from me today. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode as always. The good news, Blanco and Mojica new contracts, Calderon's developing, things look kind of rosy for the future, for the here and now, at least when it comes to our Champions League campaign. It's not looking all that great, but we've got a young team we're going to develop. We'll be back next time to take on Leverkusen and Valencia. I hope to see you guys then, and well, until then, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.